Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I guess praise the sun. I was told a little number of a game was going to break me, that being Dark Souls 2, the poster child for get good, memes and endless deaths and soul-crushing difficulty. No pun intended. It was difficult, don't get me wrong. I'm looking at you, Throne Watcher and Throne Defender, but instead of just covering the stories of Dark Souls 2 and, the gameplay and like a review type video, I've decided to talk about how I feel about the game so far instead. Reviews and story videos are pretty exhaustive on YouTube, and I have no idea really what's happening in this world anyway, very vaguely. Decided to switch it up. Went into Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 expecting a rage quit-inducing type of vibes, and admittedly I did almost call for a break from those spinny wheels in Dark Souls 1. But the wild part is, to me, I guess, from some of the people I talked to, these games kind of became a go-to for relaxation. I know, sounds crazy, but I just finished both, and instead of stress, I find a sense of cozy comfort in their brutal worlds. I've actually been debating picking up Dark Souls Remastered for the Switch to play laying on the couch while I'm lounging around. So today I'm diving into why Dark Souls games famous for punishing players are what I would call secretly soothing, rewarding, and even therapeutic. I think it's because their challenges mirror real life, the exploration feels like an escape, and your hard work actually pays off. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a tough game relaxing. So if you've heard anything about Dark Souls, it's probably that it's hard. Controller snapping, scream at the screen hard. The gaming community on X, Reddit, everywhere loves to hype up its brutality, prepare to die, and you do. I remember friends warning me that Dark Souls 2 would be the one that got me, good luck, you're gonna hate it. I expected a non-stop stress fest, essentially. But when I started playing, something clicked after a little while. Sure, I died a lot, but instead of frustration, I felt calm in a way. It's a little weird. I knew exactly what I had to do, as opposed to a lot of other games I've played where it's just me and this boss that I have to learn his moveset. There's like a set of things that I can do to get better, and I know exactly what those things are. The games are tough, no doubt, but they're not just about suffering. There's a hidden layer of satisfaction and peace that creeps in. Like the games are saying, yeah, I'm hard, but stick with me and you're gonna feel something special. And that's kind of what I'm talking about today. So let's stick with why Dark Souls is rewarding. So especially in today's world. In real life, you work your butt off, long hours, endless tasks. Sometimes it feels like you're running in place. Literally, I thought I was getting ahead this month, and then I got hit with annual and quarterly bills that I forgot about. And then I had to get oil for the house, and the car went into the garage. So these bills, come out of nowhere and they pile up, and by the time you have any money left, you're too drained to enjoy it, or another unexpected expense comes up and that money is gone anyway. It can feel like your effort doesn't matter sometimes, but in Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, every step forward counts. Every single death, you are getting better. You might not feel it, but it's happening. For instance, the souls you collect, every enemy you defeat, every soul you bank, it's progress you can see. There's some bosses where I was just like, okay, I'll be happy if I literally just get a quarter of his health gone, a half of his health gone. Progress. I remember grinding in the Forest of Fallen Giants in Dark Souls 2, slowly building up my strength. It kind of feels better than earning a paycheck. Then there's the bosses that take up a lot of your time. I died to the Throne Peaks like at least 15 times, I think. But each attempt, you learn something new, like, for instance, the fact that they can revive each other, that was wild the first time to see that. But yeah, you learn how to dodge this, block that, how to kite them. And when you finally win, it's kind of not just like a feeling of relief, it's also like you kind of feel proud. The victory is yours. This sense of hard work paying off is just something that I feel is very satisfying in a world where, like I said, it can feel like it's grinding you down to a pulp. Dark Souls gives you a tangible proof that your effort matters, kind of like the game respects your time, and that's comforting in a way that I didn't expect. Next we'll talk about the exploration, because this is where I think Dark Souls really shines as a soothing game, when you can sit down and just unplug and take your time and just be happy with what you're gonna do in this game tonight. These games don't hold your hand. There's no quest markers, there's no go here prompts, no weird character dialogue telling you what to explore next. Through all that, you realize that's what makes the world so immersive. You're forced to slow down and pay attention and just be present. I'll never forget my first time in Majula, the hub in Dark Souls 2. The gentle music, the sunset over the ocean. It's very lonely and solemn, but also pretty peaceful. Just sit by the bonfire and take it in. Or in Dark Souls, slumbering into various locations when it kind of just feels like you're stepping into a painting, and you just want to sit there and look at it for a while. Even the creepy areas like Blighttown have this eerie beauty. Or No Man's Wharf in Dark Souls 2. One of my favorite areas in Dark Souls 2. I really like the enemies there. Overall in Dark Souls 2, I like the enemies, the regular enemies, better than Dark Souls. It was really shocking, actually. Everything's just really nice to look at. You're just exploring a world that feels alive, and every area kind of feels different, and it just forces you to slow down and take your time, especially on a first playthrough, or you'll get punished pretty hard. And it's out of that slow, deliberate pace that I think you almost get a form of a meditative vibe from it. In real life, you're bombarded with notifications and things to do, but in Dark Souls, it can just be you in the game. Maybe it's because it kind of gives me that feeling I used to have as a kid again, where you could sit down and get lost in a world. A couple hours pass before you even know it, but I mean, you could spend hours wandering, finding hidden paths or secret items, and it can just feel like a break from the chaos. It's like the game invites you to get lost in a good way, and that's what's so relaxing. The fact that these games demand focus kind of makes you have to be one with the game and not focus on outside variables where you have things like work and social media and bills and all that stuff. I think these games are a really good way to unplug. Back in the day, if I would play something like, Call of Duty with the boys, you play your match, but then immediately between matches, you pick up your phone and do some scrolling or whatever, have music in the background. But I like that this game kind of requires all that attention. Not only that, but you kind of want to be paying attention to everything, because the music, the ambiance, it all is just, when you sit down and take it in for what it is as a whole, you get that much more out of it. Hell, even streaming these games, I need to just disregard chat most of the time, or I end up making stupid mistakes. The focus is kind of freeing. The game kind of just says, forget the world for a bit and deal with me. The cycle of learning, dying, and trying again, it's predictable in a comforting way. You'll get the gist and the gameplay loop pretty quick, but you're going to know you're going to mess up, but you also know you'll get better. And that's why the Dark Souls challenge feels fair to me. You know exactly what the game is expecting from you. Proceed accordingly. I think that's why there's something cathartic about the struggle. For instance, my favorite boss in Dark Souls 2 that I faced so far, admittedly, I haven't beaten all of them. I still have to get a few, maybe on my second playthrough, but my favorite one so far is Fume Knight in Dark Souls 2 DLC. And I went against him quite a handful of times. I would say over a dozen, but you just embrace the process and just enjoy the dance. And it's just not just a win, it's somewhat of a fulfillment. When you hit accomplishments in these games, it actually feels rewarding, and at the same time, failing is okay. So many times I end up falling to a random enemy in one area. I'm just like, okay, I'll go explore the other direction now and see what I'm missing there. If you slow down and play the game with that mentality, I think it gets so much better and less intimidating. Just embrace the challenge. For those of you who watch the stream, you know how long I got stuck on the big mace boys. It is what it is. It was all right. They wrecked me, but I enjoyed it. Just take it in. I'm not saying Dark Souls is a walk in the park, obviously. The games are hard. Ornstein and Smo in Dark Souls 1 was a real challenge for me, for someone who isn't good at video games. And the Dark Souls 2 hitboxes can feel like a betrayal at times. And if you're new, the difficulty can be overwhelming. I get it. But I think when you embrace that challenge and that long term, if you stick with this, you're going to get true reward. I think that's where it can become relaxing, forcing you to slow down, think, and learn, like a puzzle that's fighting back. My advice to you, if you're new to trying one of these games, might feel like a lot at first, but take it at your own pace. Don't rush and buy into the get good stuff. Don't listen to people telling you you're playing the wrong way. Just explore, experiment, take breaks when you need to. Don't make the game a race like life can feel like these days. Bonfires are your safe space for contemplation and reflection. Use them to regroup if a boss is wrecking you. Try a new strategy or grind a few levels. The game rewards patience, and that's what makes it so grounding. You always have something to look forward to. So yeah, Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 might be the kings of punishment, but for me, they're also the kings of comfort. Definitely gonna be games I probably revisit on a yearly basis. Their rewarding progression makes your hard work feel worthwhile. The worlds are a beautiful escape. I have to give a little nod to Hyde's Tower of Flame, the lighthouse looking thing in Dark Souls 2. It's just the first time I hit there. It's actually the thumbnail for the video as well. Like, there's just so many examples of just looking at the game is fulfilling. So yeah, if you want a game where your time doesn't feel wasted, a game where I feel like every minute counts, that slow progress, that slow climb to the end, I recommend Dark Souls. A good escape in my opinion. Let me know if you ever found a tough game like Dark Souls somewhat relaxing. Let me know in the comments. You know, I'd love to hear your stories. Let me know if there's any other games. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for more gaming things. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.